Hello, viewers and vegan friends. Thank you all for joining on a beautiful Sunday morning, taking your time. So, today, on behalf of World Vegan Vision, we are starting a new webinar series covering many aspects of vegan diet and lifestyle. Today's panel discussion goal is to create awareness and discuss the benefits of adapting vegan lifestyle in teenagers. Before we get started with our discussions, let me introduce briefly who are we and what we do. So, World Vegan Vision is a vegan outreach organization. We have organized many events over past 30 years promoting vegan and vegetarian lifestyle in many institutes, schools, among many communities, and we have global footage creating and spreading awareness about vegan lifestyle and its benefits. And more than ever before, as you all know, with all these environmental and health threats and crises becoming everyday norm, it has become almost imperative to protect our health and environment. So we are focusing on vegan outreach even much more with the young generation. They communicate much faster using social media and adopt new ideas much more readily than adults. So let's get started with our today's panel discussion. Our topic is vegan diet and teenagers. We have two bright young ladies and a participating physician with us today who have demonstrated over years that being vegan has many benefits and no drawbacks. We'll talk with them to learn about their journey, their everyday experiences of going vegan. So let me introduce first Janani. Shivakumar is with us. She is our youth ambassador. She has been involved in many animal rights protest activities, has spoken in UN on very topic. She's a high school junior in New Jersey and have founded first vegan club in New Jersey. Second young lady we have with us is Heeta Thakkar. She's a very outspoken animal activist from New York who is in ninth grade. She's very passionate about animal rights and has been vegan for a few years. She also has started first middle school vegan club. And last but not the least, rather very inspiring, our very own New Jersey president, Dr. Shrenik Shah. He's a practicing physician. He has been vegan over 18 years and has been advocating vegan lifestyle since then. It has been his passion. He will help us today to authenticate and validate the benefits of veganism on personal and health aspects from a medical science point of view, as well as from a humanitarian and spiritual viewpoint today. So let's start today. First question to Janani is, can you, Janani, please let us know why did you turn vegan?
Yeah, sure. So I was actually raised vegetarian by my parents, and that was primarily because my family did not want to support animal cruelty by eating meat. But at the time, we weren't really aware of the cruelty within the dairy and egg industry, and that's why we chose to stay vegetarian. But I used to do some of my own like personal research about veganism, and the thing that sort of sparked me to turn vegan was when I attended a World Vegan Vision event sometime last year. And after speaking to Neetuji and Avinashi at that event, that was sort of the push that I needed to actually make the change. And I went vegan on the spot that day. And ever since then, I've been vegan for over a year now, and I've done several like advocating activities and participated with the World Vegan Vision in several events.
Excellent. So, Hita, what do you have to say? When did you turn vegan? What inspired you to become vegan?
So I turned vegan over a year and a half ago, and for me, the reason I turned vegan was primarily because like the environmental benefits that were there. I saw that there were thousands of environmental benefits, and I realized how much the dairy industry and just like the the animal industry itself, how much harm it causes to the environment. So first I went off of that, and then I realized how much it also affected animal cruelty in our health, and so then I decided to stay vegan.
Hmm. So, Dr. Shah, same question to you. You have been vegan for 18 years, especially when veganism was not a norm. It was not such a popular awareness. So why did you turn vegan and you went to that path?
My answer is several fold. My initial contact with the veganism was always there with the passion that to cut down the animal cruelty and all those things. And then as I went further deep in, I was very impressed by the book Diet for New America by John Robbins, the son of Baskin Robbins, who is vegan. And he gave a lot of scientific background behind why my becoming vegan was really making sense. With all the scientific background, I started experimenting, and I realized, and with a lot of research, I realized that the cholesterol, which is really the main issue nowadays with a lot of people, and obesity and all that, the central to that is the animal diet. Animal diet are very high in cholesterol, and the plant-based diet are not at all having any cholesterol. So that gave me a major breakthrough. But ultimately, the way I looked at it, the animal cruelty really affected me a lot because the artificial insemination to the cows, to me, in a literal sense, was really a rape, literally on the animals, which are really innocent. And I think this was not right. And something woke me up, and I said, this is not the way. So then I became vegan, and I'm really enjoying becoming vegan because I'm helping some cows which I don't even know.
I couldn't agree anymore, Dr. Shrenik. So, Janani and Heeta, let me ask you the same another question. Like, what was your parents' reaction? Because you're a teenager, you're so young, and you are turning into vegan. Totally different lifestyle than many of us are not used to.
Yeah.
Janani?
That's a great question, actually. My both of my parents were quite surprised when I told them that I was going vegan because I actually went vegan on the spot. So a lot of people think going vegan is something that takes like a lifetime or a journey, but I went vegan in one day. It was as simple as that. And so when I came back home after the World Vegan Vision event, and I told my mom that I've decided to go vegan, she thought I was joking first. And she was like, "You won't be able to sustain this." But then I explained to her exactly why I decided to make this lifestyle choice. And I sat both my parents down and we watched several documentaries about veganism. Some of them were like What the Health, Cowspiracy. And thankfully, they were very supportive after watching that. And my dad, I was actually able to convince him to go vegan a few weeks later. And vegan now, and my mom is mostly vegan, but she's still on the way to making a change to be becoming completely vegan. But yeah, they were quite shocked at first, but as I sort of explained to them why I went vegan and that it was for ethical and environmental reasons, they were extremely supportive and they continue to support me.
Excellent. So, Heeta, how about your parents? How did
It's basically the same exact story for me. At first, my parents were extremely surprised, and they were a bit skeptical. They were concerned for my health as well. But then later, same as Janani, we sat down and watched the documentaries and everything. And just like her, my dad also turned vegan, and my mother, she's somewhere in the middle as well. She's not completely vegan, but I guess you could say she's trying.
Hmm. So excellent, I think commendable effort on your parents too for adapting and approving this path of yours. So Dr. Shah, let me ask you a very concerned question. For many oblivious reasons, people have this notion saying that you are not getting enough nutrients like being on vegan diet, especially B12, calcium, and vitamin D for growing adults. It has been an issue. So what do you have to say on those?
Well, one thing I can say is the teenagers, which are really coming up big time in the veganism movement, they're on the right track. Uh, from health perspective also, there is really no deficiencies that can be noticeable with the vegan diet. The main thing you have to be maintaining the varieties of the foods that it's an enjoyable thing to do. Is the only thing that you have to maintain. But protein wise, calcium wise, all those things, vitamin D wise, there is no problem. B12 can be supplemented very easily by taking a tablet. That is the only problem. But otherwise, veganism, it really helps you shed your a lot of weight. Diabetes can be reversed, cholesterol can be reversed without any medications. And there is a spontaneous new kind of vigor that develops after going on a plant-based diet. So I highly recommend this for the parents, especially to reconsider and give your teenager children a chance to go on their own route because they are on the right track. On the contrary, in my practice, I have seen that a lot of teenagers become vegans and then they convince their parents, like the panel said, it is the right thing to do. So accept their ideas because they are on the right track.
So the B12, vitamin D, and calcium uh,
No problem at all.
should be substituted or some way or
Calcium, not necessarily. Even the vitamin D, you have to realize that the people have a notion that vitamin D is available in the dairy products and all that. But we have to realize that vitamin D is not naturally present in the dairy products. It is fortified. So if they fortify or we take vitamin D on our own, that's the same thing. So for that, you don't have to drink milk. At the same thing, calcium. The calcium wise, people have a notion that milk is very high in calcium, for example. It's a wrong belief because the calcium that is present in the dairy is only 70%. Let's go in the stool, only 30% becomes bioavailable to your body. So if you really compare with the calcium, for example, in the beans, for example, lentils and all that, it is available 50%. 50% goes in the stool. So eventual outcome, there is no dearth of calcium when you switch to the plant-based diets. There is plenty of calcium available. So you don't have to take any supplementations or anything like that. So I would say vegan diet is a complete diet. The B12 is the only one that you have to keep it in mind. Everything else is no problem.
thank you. Very good input.
You're welcome.
So, Ahita, what kind of sports activities are you involved in currently? You are in your
Yeah, so for me, I used to do basketball, and I don't play any sports professionally, but I'm a very active person. I go out a lot, and I'm a person who goes like on different things. Like I go hiking often. I go like on bike rides with a lot of my friends. So even though I may not play basketball anymore, like on a team, um I still play another like variety of sports, but like with myself really. And I've seen like a great improvement in stamina ever since I became vegan.
So being vegan has not impacted your sports activity.
Not at all. In fact, it may have improved it. I mean, unlike what most people say, they think I'd feel like fatigue or something, but that's actually not true at all. And in fact, I feel more like energetic. Like after you eat and you go play sports or something, you don't feel like you don't have that. You don't feel like you have the energy to go play, or you feel like your stomach starts hurting. That's never been the case with me because especially since I went vegan, I've felt very like energized, and I've seen that I've had like a much um a much better stamina. So.
Janani, what do you have to say about this? What kind of activities you are involved? What do you do? Being in high school must be busy times for you too.
Yeah, so I'm actually an athlete myself. I play soccer and I do track. And within track, I'm specifically a sprinter and I also do jumps. So for all of those activities, stamina, speed, and strength are very important. And so being vegan has definitely had a positive impact on me in terms of the way that I feel when I play sports. And like Keitha said, it's definitely improved my stamina a lot. And then naturally, when you're eating plant-based foods, your energy levels are going to increase because um, when you eat animal products, you don't really feel the same way. And so I guess I could say as an athlete, I definitely can see the improvement. And a documentary for all the other like athletes watching is Game Changers. I know that's definitely something that's helped me learn more about how I can implement like a plant-based diet as an athlete.
So high school must be very challenging right now. You are what, a high school junior, if I'm not mistaken. So what significant changes you see focusing studies and achieving your goals, sleeping better, stamina wise, waking up fresher? Do you see the vegan diet has impact in any way?
Yeah, definitely. Not as a major change or anything because I was vegetarian before. So I feel like if you were consuming more animal products and then you went vegan, I feel like you'd see a bigger change. But for me, I just noticed, like I mentioned before, my energy levels were increasing and I'm able to concentrate better in school. So for the most part, that's it.
So, Dr. Shah, your expert view on the mental and spiritual and the physical health following the vegan diet. What do you have to say about it?
It is a wonderful diet, and I can vouch for myself. I have run 6 marathons, being a vegan, and the amount of energy that is released is astronomical, because you really feel very light, very agile, and so I can speak for myself that physically you definitely feel better. Mentally also, by doing something positive in your life, it releases you from the mind's bondages, because most of the people cannot give up all these dairy products and all these things derived from the dairy products. It really shows that they're very attached to these bondages. But spiritually, because I've been meditating and I've been also giving spiritual talks and all that, and I have gone through internal transformation and all these things, I realized that veganism became my main springboard from where I sprung. And it kind of released me from my own mind, that for the first time in my life, I realized that this time I'm doing something that is helpful to the cows that I don't even know. And that's when you start living for the world. It truly connects you to the universe at this point. And I believe that there are so many diets. Of course, we know South Beach diet and Dash diet and all those keto diets and all that, but they all are saying only thing about weight loss. And of course, vegan diet will do all that, but it also will give you an opportunity to be kind to other animals. And that's really a major springboard. So I believe that vegan diet will actually lift you up spiritually. If you really take it in the right direction, it's unbelievably beautiful diet. That's why I ask people, a lot of my patients have gone vegan. I said, what's the one thing that you notice? I said, doc, I feel good. Sometimes they cannot even explain. I can explain because I have gone through spiritual journey myself, when I saw my own mind dropping out. And now I'm belonging to the universe. It's a beautiful, beautiful, joyous feeling. So I want everybody to enjoy that. So
Like
being
what
vegan, there are no regrets.
connecting the world in a one thread,
Yes, yes,
and we are
absolutely.
all compassionate about this.
So every dinner plate, you can practice compassion. That's really a joyful thing.
Mhm. So yeah, that's beautifully you have put it. So Jenny, how comfortable you are with your vegan diet? Can you share with our young viewers that what is your typical meal like and what do you eat on a regular basis?
So most of what I eat is Indian food. And so Indian food is predominantly plant-based. So my meals are vary quite often, and there's no really like fixed meal. I just make sure that I'm getting enough calories and I'm getting all the nutrients I need and things like that. And I usually take my own food to school because my school doesn't really offer a lot of plant-based meals. So, but I try to vary my dishes up so that I'm not just eating the same thing. And really, plant-based diets have so much to offer. Like, you don't have to, a lot of people think that you have to just eat like spinach or beans, but there's actually so many options. And I think I've been actually experimenting with like new like vegetables and fruits and learning more about all the different like plant-based meals that there is in this world when I went vegan compared to when I was vegetarian.
And Heeta, you, what do you eat and how is, can you share some your meal plan with
Honestly,
our viewers?
I don't eat anything special, just as Janani said. I eat basically what you would think I eat, like almost like an everyday person, but like vegan. Like I know a lot of places that I can even have bagel and cream cheese, but like vegan. Like I can have mac and cheese, but vegan. Like nachos and chips with like sour cream, but vegan sour cream. And I have vegan ice cream in my fridge right now. So I eat basically what everyone else would eat. Like I don't eat anything special. It's just that there are a lot of vegan substitutes out there, and I eat like those substitutes instead of like the real food, and they don't taste that different, to be honest. Um, and also like I go shopping at Whole Foods a lot, and Whole Foods is like a really good place for like vegan shopping. Yeah.
Okay, so you're happy with your vegan diet. So Dr. Shah, you have been vegan for 18 years and you are a physician. So for our viewers, what is your advice how their vegan diet should be? And actually, what is really vegan diet? Because a lot of people are oblivious of even figuring out what is a vegan diet. So can you go over and explain to our viewers what is a vegan diet and what would you suggesting for them to eat?
Well, the first thing I have to say, vegan diet obviously is no animal products. So that does not mean that, okay, you can have a little bit cheese here and there, a little bit yogurt over here and there. The one thing I want everyone to be cautious, and we all should be on the one page, that when you become vegan, it is a major step. We understand that, but it is a good step in the right direction. And if you stay on it, 6 months later, you will be telling others because the benefits are immense. The one thing that we have to realize that once you go vegan, of course, a lot of things are available nowadays, which they were not available 18 years ago. So before I had to modify my life so much, but ultimately, what I,
And teenager.
hello, hello.
Yeah, just a second. There's something just, hello? Something happened?
Anyway, I'll continue.
Go ahead.
So the vegan diet is basically a major transition from the animal food, animal derived food to plant-based diet. So that is a one major transition. Once you make the transition, you have to realize, and this is from some of my patients' examples, if they actually goof up, like after going on a vegan, for example, they goofed up on one meal, believe it or not, we have checked their cholesterols 6 weeks later, they were high. So we think that by cheating on one meal, we are still vegan. It doesn't work that way because it's actually the cholesterol that is extracted from the animal food circulates in your arteries for 6 weeks. So whenever you do make a switch, realize that it's 100% switch. It's not turning back. And yes, it's not going to be easy. And I know it's going to take time, but little by little, you will get settled in the vegan diet. And thankfully, all these options are available. So that's the first step. So no animal products forever. Period. That's it. Because otherwise you're defeating the purpose. So then now we're talking about only the animal, non-animal foods, so like plant-based diet. From there, your journey actually starts. And I have evolved myself, and I don't expect everybody to mostly raw food diet. I have more on the whole food plant-based diet, which again is an evolution. Once you start enjoying the benefits of the vegan diet, little by little, you can upgrade yourself. I eat pretty much raw food all day long, fruits, vegetables, salads, beans, nuts, all day long. And I have one sensible cooked meal, a vegan meal, of course, in the evening. But I have tried to incorporate even the salads and all those things into it, whole grains like quinoa. So all these things, that's what I do.
So, what would you suggest specifically for teenagers when they're adapting to this vegan diet? Like, what they have to make sure that they include in their meals?
I think the first step is they have to see, this is the way I look at life. There are three steps in life: Shravan, Manan, and Acharan. Shravan is where you gather all the information, not just listening, read up everything, put all this information. Then Manan is you brood over it. You realize what is right, what is not wrong. This is increases your wisdom, Shravan, Manan, and then you put it in a Acharan, which is your day-to-day life. So don't go rush into this. Don't do it just because I say or we say. You realize all this information, gather, and then you make a step. But then little by little, you stay. Like I said, all these replacements are available. So I don't recommend everybody to change overnight. And I recommend to start with only one meal at a time. Every 3 to 4 weeks, go to the next meal. And then finally to the dinner, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay, thank you. So it seems like a vegan is the excellent option for protecting our environment and health, uh, whatever we have discussed so far. So my question comes to how do you create the awareness? I know Janani and Heeta, you both have started the first vegan club in your school at this early on in your life, which is very commendable. And so, what do you have to suggest? How do you create awareness? Jenny, I'll ask you the first question. Jenny, you should answer this question first, and then Heeta can follow. But my question is like, is it a parent's role or is it a youth role? Or how would you create the awareness in the fastest possible way in the world and send your messages?
So I personally, as a young vegan myself, I feel like youth have a lot of potential within this movement, whether it be the animal rights movement or the environmental movement. A lot of youth are seen leading these movements. And because there's so much information now available on like social media, I feel like youth can really be like the driving force when it comes to things like this. So in terms of how to create awareness, first, of course, you have to take the step yourself as an individual, do your research and gather all the information, like Shrenik said. And once you have that information and you know exactly why you chose to go vegan or the motive behind it, you'll be in a better position to educate other people and raise awareness. So once you're in that position, there's so many ways to get involved, whether it be joining a vegan or animal rights organization or just talking to people about it. Whenever you come across someone that seems interested in veganism, you can share your perspective or the benefits that you've seen, as well as just, I feel like once you go vegan, the next step I feel like almost everyone should take is to become an activist. And that doesn't have to be going to the streets and protesting, but if you know that what you're doing has a good impact on animals and our environment, I feel like that needs to be shared with other people. And so it can be something like I'm doing right now, talking about it in an event, or as simple as just talking to your family members and encouraging them to make the switch. So there's really lots of ways to raise awareness about it, but I feel like once you go vegan, the next step has to be to become an activist in any way, shape, or form.
So, what do you feel about your current menus at the high school?
So currently, unfortunately, my school doesn't really have a good plant-based menu. Um, for vegans, I guess the most that we have is salad, but unfortunately, that isn't enough to sustain us for throughout the whole day. So currently, I am like bringing food from home, but I feel like a lot of parents and students within schools can get involved and speak to their board of education and encourage them to maybe introduce more plant-based meals. And once they see that there's like this demand for more plant-based meals, naturally they have to incorporate it into the menus as well so that they can actually provide food for their students.
Heeta, what can you please share your some experience at high school and
Um, that's really it's gonna be interesting. So when I first became vegan, a lot of my friends like they would just like imitate me, make fun of me and stuff. And then I convinced like a few of them to try it out for like simply like a few days. And they were like, okay, because they thought it was gonna be easy. But it turned out that it was a lot more harder than they expected it to be. So they ended up like they ended they ended up to like start to respect me for what I would do because they realized what I was doing was really hard. And like that, I would try to like get them to understand the benefits of veganism and like how animal cruelty works and when like what happens when they eat what they do. And it's not been like the most easy journey in school, but it hasn't been that bad. Like trying to explain to teachers and other students the benefits of veganism, also to handle like the tauntings that some of the kids used to like throw at me. It was interesting.
so what would you suggest to promote veganism? Like, let's say if it is in your hand, what do you think needs to be done at high school level?
At the high school level, I mean, social media is a big thing at my age. So if something goes around on social media a little
Especially in the school,
much,
because,
people will start.
especially in the school, like when you
Sorry.
are in your high school when you are facing this thing, and what do you suggest? Like, how can we change this? How can we make vegan friendly menus
Yeah.
and all?
So as yeah, as I was saying, like social media is a big thing, especially for kids my age. If something goes around on social media a lot, it's gonna get stuck in their head, and they're gonna try to explore it and see what it is. And also, like just like talking to people in general, like Janani said, that makes a big impact on them because what you say, they later like go off and think about what you said, and that leaves an imprint on people. So
So what do you do? Um, currently, I know you have been a very strong activist on this matter. So what kind of activities are you involved in promoting veganism and
Um, I'm a person who goes out and talks a lot about veganism, explains to people the benefits. I haven't been to any protests yet, but I support like a lot of groups that do, and things like that. It's more for me. It's more like talking and outreach.
Jenny? I know you are very busy promoting the same cause and creating this awareness. So can you tell our viewers and inspire us, like what do you do and how you're trying to make the difference in the world?
Yeah, so I'm actually involved in quite a lot of activities and it takes up a lot of my time, but I feel like it's definitely worth it and it's necessary in this day and age. I've actually been to quite a few protests. I went to the New York Animal Rights March last year, and unfortunately, there aren't a lot of protests and rallies happening now because of COVID. But hopefully, once everything reopens, I'll be able to go there. But for now, I am involved in Vegan Activist Alliance, and we basically go to various like cities and we just do vegan outreach and this isn't just about like veganism and like plant-based diets, but it's more about the environmental and animal rights aspect of veganism. And then I've also been to various vigils. So I go to slaughterhouses every couple of months and I document the conditions that animals arrive into these slaughterhouses. And then we sort of share these things on social media so that more people will learn about the conditions that animals arrive in. And it's quite sad, but when, even though it's difficult to actually see these animals right before they're slaughtered, it's something that I feel like vegans should do because that's the only form of compassion that animals receive before they're killed. So when we go to these slaughterhouse vigils, we give animals water and any sort of love and compassion that we can provide right before they're killed. And then, of course, I've also been doing speeches, and I'm an international speaker, so I've spoken in various schools about veganism within the United States and in India. And then currently, I'm also involved in the youth lobby for animal-free farms. So political action is just as important as raising awareness and outreach. So it's important that as vegans, if we want to see any form of change or any animal liberation, that we're actively lobbying and making changes to our policies. So the organization that I'm involved in is a lot of youth who train together, and we are basically training to be lobbyists and push for more animal-friendly bills in Congress and the Senate and things like that. And then so recently, actually, I think a week ago, we conducted a Ban Factory Farm Summit, and this was all youth-led. And basically, we all talked about how we can push for factory farms to be banned because they're so cruel to animals and workers. And Cory Booker was actually one of the people that spoke at that summit. So we've actually had a good response from a lot of Congress people, and a lot of people seem to be supporting this animal rights movement. So that's really good.
Excellent news. We are going mainstream with the same awareness, which is excellent for all of
Very
us.
impressive.
Yeah. So, what do you have to say to inspire to our young viewers today, Janani? I would ask you the same question again. What do you have to say today to our viewers?
Yeah, so this sort of relates to what Dr. Shah said before, but adapting a vegan lifestyle is not something that someone can sort of convince you or like convert you to do. Like it's not you shouldn't just go vegan because somebody told you to do that. I would say that you should do your research first and really understand the motive behind why you want to go vegan, because that's very important if you actually want to continue being vegan throughout your whole life, and being able to sustain that is very important. So personally, for me, I knew that I went vegan for ethical and environmental reasons. And that's sort of what drives me and pushes me to continue being vegan and participating in activism. So the vegan lifestyle really requires a shift in mindset. Veganism is very different from a plant-based diet. So in order to be vegan, you have to actually create a shift in mindset and change your lifestyle. So I would definitely recommend that you do your research and really identify the motive behind why you want to go vegan before you actually make that choice.
Very well said. Heeta, what do you have to say to our viewers today? Adapting the vegan lifestyle and inspiring others from what you have.
So I would definitely go and watch some of the documentaries that we had mentioned. Just to like state them: Cowspiracy, Forks Over Knives, What the Hell, Game Changers. These are all great like documentaries that will like help a lot, especially if you're thinking about going vegan. They show you like the environmental benefits, the benefits for your health, the benefits for like animals and everything. So those yes are like documentaries to watch. They're very important, I feel. So if that was one thing that I would have to say, would be to watch those.
Excellent. So, Dr. Shah,
Yes.
you're the expert in this matter, and please share your views and inspire them for adapting this new lifestyle, and what are the benefits? What do you have to say on this?
Well, I have a great feeling about the vegan diet, and I am very passionate about it. As you know, I'm lucky in a way that people come to me for the advice, and and believe me, when I started telling patients, because I had noticed so many benefits in the beginning, there was resistance and all that. Even the community doctors were, "Oh, you went to Dr. Shah; he must have told you to go vegan." Now they are the one who are going vegan after all these years. Now they're real because their cholesterols had high. They have noticing to have a coronary artery disease, and all of a sudden they remember that yes, Dr. Shah was right. So I am lucky in a way that people come to me, and I don't mind spending half an hour, 45 minutes. But once they understand that this is not just Dr. Shah, it's a Dr. Shah with a passion, as the Janani and Heeta has shown. It's a passion that speaks, and I want ultimately the passion to rule this world, because when you do anything with passion, it brings tremendous results, because then they see that passion in you. And I really want the young viewers to ride on this passion. Then they will come out with all unimaginable ways like these two young girls have come up with, and it's really mind-boggling to see that happening. So I think it is really a beautiful movement that we all can join, and it can change the face of the earth. With billions and billions of dollars, healthcare dollars we are spending on diabetes, cholesterols, heart attacks, cancers, all this can be reversed. And all that energy that we generate out of that, we can have a long, prolonged life for 80s, 90s, even hundreds. And then we can really have a very, very good change on the planet itself, because evolution wise, things are going to keep on going. But we realize that vegan diet is really changes because the amount of farms that we have, 90% of the farms grow the food for the animals, not for us. So by going vegan, we are releasing all this farmland back to the woods. A lot of woods can grow on it and can take away the greenhouse gases. Oceans are depleting because of our insatiable desire for fish, more and more fish and more and more fish. We're taking away food from the sharks, which are the top of the food chain. We're really destroying the world. It's unimaginable. So by going vegan, we're going to be supporting this environment. These young kids are going to inherit this earth. We have to do it. And then who are the most beneficial out of it? Youngsters. So I think they have to take keen interest in this, take a deep study the whole, and then find out the objective behind it, and then go for it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching us, and I'm sure our discussion today has influenced you and created the awareness that you guys were looking for, has answered most of your questions. But if you have any more questions for Dr. Shah or even Janani or Heeta, we'll be taking those now. And let us know if you have any questions. Do we have any questions here?
Yeah, I think one question is, does the vegan diet have adequate protein and vitamins, or do we need to take supplements? I think Dr. Shah, you can answer that question.
I'm sorry, what was the question again? I was reading another comment by Dr. Parikh, who just also posed another question, but I'll come to that later. I'll speak to you first. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you say?
One of the questions in the chat was, does a vegan diet have adequate protein and vitamins, or do we need to take supplements? That was one of
No,
them.
I don't believe in any supplements. On the contrary, most of the vitamins are available on a plant-based diet. And like I always say, you have a variety of foods, different kind of fruits, different kind of nuts, different kind of minerals. They're available, and varieties of foods is the key. Then you have no supplementation necessary except the B12. B12 is also very interesting story because they say, well, then if the vegan diet cannot provide us B12, how come it's considered a complete diet? How could it be a complete diet? That's a little secret that I have to tell you that, okay, the B12 comes from animals, but do you know why, how they get B12? They get B12 by eating the feed that's been given to them. Now, compare their feed, which comes from the farms and being given to them, it's not as sterile as our foods, which is packaged nicely, irradiated, cleaned, washed, everything. So we lose those bacteria which are normally present on the feed that is collected from the farms, right? So those bacteria actually go in their intestines and make the B12 for them. So when we consume animal products, we get the B12. Now, theoretically, supposing we were vegan and lived in a jungle, and we will be eating the fruits of the tree or drinking the water from the streams, we will have no problem. Our body also will make enough B12 for us. It's only because we're living in a very hygienic and sterilized society, we have to take B12 supplement. Other than that, there is hands down, there is no problem with vegan diet. So no extra supplements are necessary.
Thank you. I hope it cleared up for many of our teenage viewers about B12 and vitamin D supplements, whether we should be taking or not. It answers very well. Any other questions we have?
I think Dr. Parikh has asked a question. He's saying that, are we ready to claim that the current pandemic would not have happened if more people were vegan? Hey, it's a no-brainer, right? It's all started in the meat markets in Wuhan. Our interactions with animals have created so many diseases in the human population. And a lot of people don't even realize that some of them have become part of our daily life. HIV came from rhesus monkeys, monkey meat. All the blood that were being killed that was transferred, Ebola, all those things, measles, mumps, a lot of poxes, chicken pox, all those things used to be animal diseases. And at one time or the other, human population have gone through massacres and massacres. So yes, we are paying a very high price for interacting and interfering with the patient, the animals' daily lives. I think we have to come out of this craziness. Otherwise, the next pandemic will take away the whole humanity. So I think it's time for wake up, and it's the right question to ask at this time.
Could not agree anymore.
Yes.
So, any more questions do we have? I think,
I don't think there's any in the chat. But I actually had a question for Dr. Shah. Something that I've heard recently is how people are talking about antibiotic resistance and how that will be the next pandemic, kind of. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. Because you think that you go to the doctor's office and the doctor prescribes the antibiotics and the doc, it didn't work. It's not a surprise because the same antibiotics are given to the cows and to the other animals. Unfortunately, the way the animals are raised nowadays, there's no more like a beautiful green pictures of pastures on the milk cartons. You see that cows are roaming out and grazing in the fields. Nobody does that anymore. In a small little room, 4 or 5 cows, or in a one factory, the cows are kept next to each other continuously. Now, obviously, they are in the mud. There is a lot of wetness around it. So there is a lot of cross-contamination possible. So what is the solution? Load them up with antibiotics. And those antibiotics, the bacteria which are already there, they already know how to fight it. If you end up getting the bacteria, same antibiotics that are being prescribed by the doctors were also used by the veterinarian in keeping their animals free of diseases. So what do you think? The same antibiotics are not going to work. It's a matter of time, and another major outbreak will happen when our antibiotics will not work for us anymore. And that's going to be even worse than a pandemic. And I agree, absolutely. So this practice is spring out of handling the animals. So if we really get rid of all these things, a lot of future healthful lives can be saved, definitely.
So, many kudos to veganism, and let's all work together And as Dr. Shah said, and Janani and Heeta would agree, it's a passion that you want to create within you to complete the circle of this world. And it is all for the betterment. So thank you all for watching us today. Hope this panel discussion helped you to understand benefits of vegan diet. What are the real experiences and the views of teenagers? You can get more insights by also watching movies like Game Changers, What the Hell, Forks Over Knives. Also, you can visit us on Facebook for our next webinar. We'll be doing this every month. And of course, for more information, please visit our website, www.worldveganvision.org. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you, everyone, for joining me and all of us on behalf of World Vegan Vision. Thank you.
So if you have no more questions, we